Bienvenue.
We're back.
We are back.
Bienvenue. This is not the Creole one.
Well, forgive me. You guys know we do both Haitian Creole and English, so I apologize. But at the same time, you know what bienvenue is, right?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome. Today, we want to talk about judgment.
Versus mistake.
And you guys know by now, we are a non-judgmental platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally do have a problem with people jumping into conclusion and judging people. And the other day you say something, anybody who cannot get along with me.
There's something wrong with them. Honestly. I have two people I could say that about.
Based on being the non-judgmental platform. So what we're talking about is mistake a judgment, a mistake. So, what do you guys think? When you jump into conclusion and judge somebody, is it a mistake? Or when you make a mistake and you know you're not going to do it again, is it the same?
To me, I don't know if anybody will see it the same. To me, it's not the same. To me, I feel like when you judge someone, it's different versus when you make a mistake. A mistake is, oops, I'm sorry. I hate your car, I'm sorry. I dropped your milk, I'm sorry. I elbowed you, I'm sorry. Versus when you judge someone based on preconceived notions about who that person is, it's a choice you're making. But you're not making a choice in terms of certain mistakes. Certain mistakes you don't see to mistakes.
Like what?
Until after. Choosing your nail color, and then you realize like, oh man, this really don't look good on me. That was a mistake.
Okay.
Right? Versus like, but there's no preconceived notions. There's no premeditated thought about it. Just like, I'm just going to try this.
Or something that triggers
it. It was a risk. You took a risk.
Or something that triggered it because it's already there, or past trauma.
Yes.
That pushed you into a conclusion.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a risk that you took and it didn't pay out. And you can call that a mistake. Versus you saying, oh, yeah, this person is this. After one conversation, you already have an idea of who that person is and you let them know. I think it would be okay.
Based on their look.
Yeah,
I'll give you an example of that.
Yes, that's true. But I think it would be okay for you to have that preconceived notions as long as you keep it to yourself. You keep learning more about the person. You keep letting the person show you who they are.
So you can have a preconceived thoughts or notion.
You keep it to yourself.
But you balance it by getting to know the person.
Yes.
And getting more information.
Yes.
And then connect it to see if it is true.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but it's different when you say, oh, you're just like so-and-so. You're triggered. And listen, I am not responsible for your triggers. Okay, boo-boo? I am not responsible for your trigger. You can be triggered all you want from here to Manaza. I'm not responsible.
Where's Manaza?
Pittsburgh. You can be responsible. You know, you're from here all the way to Boston or from here all the way to Canada. Okay, I am not responsible for your trigger. Okay.
Okay. Your
trigger warning or yours. You're responsible for your trigger. You want to be triggered by what I say, especially when I'm not trying to trigger you. That's your business. My point is that you're choosing to make a statement, right? When you first told me about what your son went through when he got shot, right? Most people would have been being a gun. He's in a gang. That's why he got shot. They don't need to know the whole story. Tell me that's not what you received from people.
Well, for those who don't know, Shut Up Until You There came about my own experience. So since you brought that up, is the judgment of the person they saw outside, meaning my son.
Yeah.
And not knowing, again, the story behind what you see. So they see, as I'm talking, this is something that just came to mind. We like to jump into conclusion when we see a kid out there acting a certain ways. Your mom, it's usually the mom, Right? Your mom didn't go do job. Your mom raised you
Wrong.
that way. The judgment?
Judgment. Yeah. So that's not a mistake. You're
So
making
you
a judgment.
purposefully putting this out there, judging someone, and majority of time, there's people judging the moms because it's usually the moms.
Yes.
I barely hear anybody say, I'm not putting anything on the dads. I'm not attacking the dads. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I don't remember any time that I've heard your dad must have done a wrong job raising you. That's why you're acting that way out there. Right? So you judge that kid based on what you see, not knowing what they might be going through.
Story behind what you see.
What's happening? We jump into conclusions. So with my son, what people saw out there, it's not the kid that I know at home.
Exactly. But that's not what people will see. People will see, when I say people, I'm talking about y'all Haitians. Okay? Y'all will see the worst in people instead of stopping and thinking, oh man, like, what is this family going
We don't
through?
ask questions. I was talking to my godson. I was talking to my godson the other day, and he was like, Nenen is godmother for Haitian Creole. Nenen, a lot of people jump into conclusion that they don't ask questions. I say, stop right there. Those who jump into conclusion and make judgment are usually people who do not ask questions. Because if you can self-regulate,
Yeah.
if you can self-regulate and you ask question, how is it such and such doing this? What's happening at home?
Miss Emil, people must think we're saints talking like that. I was just thinking about that.
Oh, please.
We're not saints, okay? We've had our weak moments. We have.
Oh, no. I am far from being the same.
Oh,
So as you guys gonna get to know us, and then she doesn't have problem sharing some part of her story. I have no problem. So you'll get to know. I am far away
we're
from
not
being the
saints.
same.
We're
So-
just real.
So sometimes too real. So
Yes.
then people who have that ability to take a deep breath and ask questions, majority of time those people are not judgmental.
No, they're not.
They're not, because they ask questions, they put two and two together, and their approach is different. Because people who would make mistake would be saying, okay, what are you doing here? And whoop the kids and yell at the kids. That could be a mistake,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Versus you judge that kid. You judge people based on what they look like, the way they talk, the way they are, and then you don't ask questions. A recent interactions for me with that person, I had dreads. When my season 1, I had dreads too, right? So, yeah. Because I had dreads, that person had a problem because when they look at me, and point blank said it to my face, I couldn't attract any serious man.
Judgment, not a mistake.
Literally said it to my face.
That's a judgment.
No serious man would be attracted to me.
Or take you
Mind
serious.
you, I'm an educated person. I'm not gonna say what I'm about to say to brag. Went to school, 2 masters. Raised my kids mainly without a father with them. So I've done my dues,
Right.
right? But because I had dreads, so that's out there, right? Even in church,
That's not a mistake.
that's a judgment. You're not making it, and especially because that person detailed it. And to kill it, my ex-husband, my kid's father, has dreads. And that same person felt like because my ex-husband had dreads, there must have been a thug, a drinker, a smoker. None of
Oh,
this,
that's that, man.
none of which my ex-husband is.
Yeah. It's because there is such a negative stigma to dreads. Honestly.
With that person clear cut, right? With that person way of dressing or whatever, which can be deceiving to people,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Everything that a lot of things that they assume about people with dreads are the things that they do.
Exactly.
Judgment.
You know, I don't know if it's true or not, but, you know, they say the worst people you find,
Are
the
people
most
like
judgment, the most judgmental people, and you know where you find them?
Church?
Yes. You find the most judgmental people, the worst kind of people in church. That's why they need to be in church, right? Because they're
not going to make that a church thing, right?
Oh, you know I am.
I knew that. She's not going
to. It's coming from every time you hear someone talking about, why are you wearing this? Why are you looking like this? It's coming from a place of judgment, and that's not a mistake. It's not.
No, and it's also
a mistake is oops, I'm sorry.
And it's also yeah, you planned it. Yeah. You're triggered by it, or you don't have enough knowledge about it, right?
Sure.
Because in church, when I started dreading my hair, and my kids have dreads as well. We have a family of dreads, so we're going to church, and I remember this older lady at some point. At the time, my ex-husband had not gone to church for a while, so he went back to church after a while. And then we were coming as a family to church. And then she was at the top of the stairs. I shared that story a lot in different, ways with people. And this older lady stood on the top of the stairs and said, "Where do you think you're going with this in your head?" My ex is a very polite person. He has his flaws, but disrespecting and being disrespectful to people, especially elders, that's not him.
Right.
So I remember him taking a deep breath. Self-regulation. Right. That part he has in that part. I remember my ex-husband taking a deep breath and smile and joke about it. But I know him. The same moment his eyes was red. Shut red.
It hurts.
But he climbed the stairs, regulated himself, talked to the lady, or, old enough to be our mom at the time, because we were the same age, old enough to be our mom, and talked to her, calm her down, because she was still going at it. Judge him. Judge him. Because he came back to church with dread in his, on his head.
Funny how you said that happened in church.
Anyway, so anyway, that one was judgment.
Supposed to be accepted.
That one was judgment. Versus if she had bumped into him and dropped something, a food or something, and you're just like, okay. And I think some mistake seems to be
as a
judgmental, a mistake. You know what I mean? Because some mistake is based on lack of information. You hear somebody say something, because my older sister, had a problem with me dreading. For years I had dread, but to me, for her, I don't think she was judging me, but it was more of information she had about people dreading.
Yeah.
Right? And because of that, she didn't want me to be judged by people. So her mistake was pushing me to cut my dread.
Yeah.
So she was making a mistake to me. Not knowing
perception,
right? Because reason I personally did dreads is because every time I put perm in my hair, I had thin hair, which is also the reason I cut my dreads, because it became so long, it was heavy, and it was pulling my roots. So it was putting patch in my hair. So therefore, my hair is so thin. When I put any chemical in it, it destroyed it.
Yeah.
So then I started doing dread.
But people don't understand.
I had the what you see.
Yeah.
You don't ask questions. You jump into conclusion, right? The moment you don't ask questions, you make a conclusion, it is judgment.
Yep. My daughter, you see her hair, it's locked. I have micro locks in her. And I started when she was 2. There was a lot of controversial about putting locks in people's hair. And one comment specifically, I heard someone said, "Oh, you did that to her hair because you're a lazy mom."
Oh.
And I'm
Let me tell
You know what I said to that person? I said to that person, when you have a daughter, then you can come and say that.
Shut up until you're there.
That's exactly what I said to them.
Shut up. And at the time, shut up until you're there didn't exist. So
No, it didn't exist.
Wait, shut up until you're there. So, you know what I was thinking about? I just said that she said to you, because you're a lazy mom, I made it a point for my kids to speak Haitian Creole, right? Again, as I just said, I went to high school here. I went to college here, get my bachelor's, get both my master's here in America. But that was my thing to make sure that my kids speak Haitian Creole. There was someone in church. Don't make it a church thing. Don't make it a church thing. Who actually said the reason I am forcing my daughter, because at the time I had her, to speak Haitian Creole is because I don't speak English.
Oh.
And they barely heard me speak English. At the time I was finishing my bachelor.
Story behind what you see. The story behind what you see.
Projection as well, by the way. Because that person's kids don't speak Haitian Creole.
Of course.
And sometimes they envy you for that.
Of course they do. Of course
So,
they do.
The most judgmental people on things that they're pointing fingers are the things that they're also doing.
Insecurities. It's their own insecurities. When people judge,
That would be a topic that we're coming.
Their own insecurities.
We're coming out with a topic about that soon.
Insecurities.
How insecure people cause damage in relationships
Yes.
and jump into conclusion.
Yes.
The most insecure people love judging.
Yes. Because it's coming from a place of jealousy. Because they don't have it. Because you have it, they want to make you feel bad for having it. And they'll give you they'll call you all the name in the book. And, they'll say all these things. I'm going to have to put my mother on blast. Because when after 6 weeks having my first child, my daughter, she said to me, you look like a sack of potato. It's almost like patat. 6 weeks after having a newborn.
Not 6 years, not 6 months.
No, 6 weeks. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that in our household, there's a lot of judgment. In our household, like
when we say our household, we say Haitian household.
Yes. Like, when it comes to the body, we destroy
either too fat,
people,
too skinny, to this, to that. We never satisfied. Yeah.
That's not a mistake.
Judgment.
And that was, she said that 5 years ago, and it stuck with me. I look like a sack potato. It's been 6 weeks, people. 6 weeks. My first baby. And I'm someone who's always struggled with my weight, right? Because I'm looking at my high school pictures. I'm like, oh man, I used to be so thin. When I was 18, when I was 16, when I was 15, I was a child. I had a child body. And now I'm a mother. I have a mother's body.
Then you get shamed for it.
So till this day, it's still coming up. And I know it's her own issue. And I did address it. And I wasn't very nice about it. And I'm not going to be like, oh, I regret what I said to her. No, I didn't. Sometimes for some people who judge and put you down, at one point, you have to give it to them right back. She struggled with body image.
So she thinks she's most of us do because they have something to do.
She thinks she's too skinny. She's complaining to me all the time that she's too skinny.
Maybe she wanted to
The last
lose weight.
time she made that comment on me was the last time she ever commented it, because I'm like, well, I'd rather have a body of a woman than of a young boy. That's what I told her. And I was not sad about it. And you know what? The comment about my body, stop. Because I made her see, I put the mirror in. I'm like, no, boo-boo, you have an issue with your body, not me. And I have to accept that. That's a judgment. That's not a mistake. That's shaming people.
Shaming people. Yeah, the dreads. And again, those who judge, judgmental people don't ask questions. Mm-hmm. For example, had that person asked me, how come an educated person like you, flip it? Mm-hmm. Because you can say, nobody who's educated would have dread.
That's a bold statement for somebody to make. I mean, come on.
Uneducated statement.
I'm not gonna cut my dread just because.
Right? So
Your journey.
had that person asked me, why did you stop your dread in the first place?
Yeah, hear the story.
Right?
The bottom line is,
And that's my freaking
ask
dread.
questions.
That's my freaking dread.
And something you're confident about, something you love. This person think that's not a mistake. I'm sorry, this is
No,
not
I mean,
a mistake.
it's not. No, I agree with you on that one. It's not a mistake because not only made the judgment based on me
Yeah,
because of the dread, I could not have
and the track of
attracted.
life.
Right? So sometimes I feel like, I could be bolder to say, let me show you the type of men that actually talk to me.
To shut you up.
to shut me up, but sometimes it's just like it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it.
But you know what I've noticed is for some people, you need to make them feel the way they make you feel for them to back off. I am telling you, you need to, because you can't soft handle somebody. They throw an elbow, you gotta throw an elbow sometimes. Your patient only lasts for so long before you're like, okay, this has nothing to do with me. This is an issue you have with yourself. This is your own
projection.
Your own projection. Let me put the mirror on your face.
Yeah. Unlock.
Let me have you take a look at your face.
Yeah. Again,
You have to stoop.
I have had those, and it's not that just a particular person who judge people with dreads.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had dreads who would judge people like my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, my ex-husband might have his flaws. But the things that he gets categorized as just because he had dreads, he's nowhere near any of them. But I've seen people with clean cut, so-called dress to impress, who actually do exactly and worse than what they're putting on him.
Of course, sometimes the people who try the hardest to work on a certain perceptions are the worst people in-house.
Yeah.
People who are out there and you see them, this is what you see is what you get. They're honest people. They're honest.
Yeah. I like to...
In terms of the Haitian community.
And usually we call these people malade.
Yeah.
And disrespectful because they ask questions, they push the boundaries in a way, and then we judge them. So people like the judgmental one judge them because they don't know how to handle them. People like that.
So be it.
All right.
I'm not a so be it.
So what would you be your last, advice based on that topic? Judgment versus mistakes. What would you tell people?
Don't confuse the two. A mistake is oops, I didn't mean to. A judgment is like...
And usually mistake we jump to actually apologize for.
Yes.
A judgment, people like to detail it. Like the one you were telling me. The person compared you to somebody based on the experience with the person. So they detail the judgment.
Yes. It's their own trauma because I triggered you. Whoops. I'm sorry, your life is a minefield. Go to therapy. I'm a therapist. I'll see you. Maybe. I don't know. I don't see everybody. But... if your life is a minefield, don't judge people because of that. It's just don't.
Right.
And stop confusing it with a mistake.
If you find yourself not asking questions and jumping into making a statement,
Assumptions.
Jumping into assuming, jumping into judging, the problem is you.
Yep.
Not the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lack of a whole lot of things that to make you feel good about yourself. You have to judge someone else.
Yep.
The mistake is not the judgment. But the judgment, you need to check that out.
Yep. And not everybody knows that your life is a minefield of triggers.
So stop having people tiptoeing around you.
Because we're not going to. I'm not going to.
All right. So check yourself out. Is it a mistake? When you make a mistake, take accountability. When you're judging, take what you lack and fix it.
And ask questions
All
before
right.
you jump.
Bye.
See ya.